from Jackie in the audience. Once a new business process is live, what's the best way to ensure adoption? Alex, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. I think in cases like this, we're working with their team to identify where they are now, what they're doing now, and what they're trying to do. So if there's gaps in that process, then we're identifying, here are the things that you need to start incorporating. Usually, because we're already interviewing the people that are doing the work and that are overseeing the work, we should understand, what really the ins and outs of how they like to work. And there isn't a lot of necessarily change management going into that process because it's current state for the most part. And if there's a gap, if there's a thing we need to identify as a room for improvement, the need for that improvement is coming from the stakeholders. They're saying, here's a pain point we have, let's fix it. Not, I don't want to start doing it this other way. So on the process map side, that part it's kind of built in. The adoption, the desire to adopt it comes out of those interviews because you're guiding them along a path towards making their lives easier and just letting them understand things. Implementing it, if it's connected to the process map, I would say if someone came in and said, we made a map, can you go do this for me in some other tool? And they've never used the tool before, that's a potential hurdle, of course, because there's a lot of change management there. You might have to drive the reasoning and the value of that. But in our engagements, we're putting these two things together as a necessary pair to say, we need to understand your process, so do you. When we have all that written down and approved, we can then build it the way you would like to see it. And at that point, we're driving adoption by really hitting the marks on the things that we've said you need to do or you want to do, making it as simple as possible for the team with their current skills and awareness and capacity to continue doing their work, hopefully in a simpler fashion, at the very least, in a way where they know the whole process, know what's going to happen from A to Z. They don't have to think about, do I need to add in some extra steps here or am I missing something? It's built in. So it just takes away some of that mental headspace necessary to drive work when you haven't planned it out. And then the second part I'd say is just as you are building it, if there are kind of live refining and vetting of what you've done to make sure that this is accurately reflecting what we talked about in the map, or things that maybe you have some additional details that were just too small for the map to include or for the mapping interviews to include. Are we covering all those here, or are we making it, are we just building a bucket that you check off versus building a series of checks for you to make sure you're doing your work properly? So meeting the team where they're at, I think, is key, but we've already kind of done that from the mapping process.
That is awesome. Thank you so much.